Let's start from the celebration because, yes, of course, Nigeria has been on the top of affairs, especially as it concerns the Economic Community of West African States, that is the ECOWAS. We've had about 8 of our presidents, head of states, being at that particular top ranking, of course. And then just to make it known to you why it is called a celebration, the 63rd Economic Community of West African States Assembly has actually given Tinubu the chairmanship of that particular committee at this particular point in time, being the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and of course being among those that has actually headed that, or rather is heading that particular committee at this particular point in time, is a bonus to Nigeria as a state. Of course, it is that particular talk about Nigeria improving and getting to that particular limit we all pray for. Congratulations to the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as we move forward. Remember, before this particular position, Nigeria has been there, just like I told you. The other administration, the Muhammad Buhari administration, has been there twice, talking about his time as the military head of state. He was the chairman of the ECOWAS, and of course, as the democratic president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he was still there as the chairman of this particular committee, of course. Moving forward, Jonathan Ebele has equally been there between his time up until 2015, before he handed over to the Buhari administration as the chairman of the ECOWAS. Congratulations to that particular one. Of course, you're welcome to the show. Just like I said, we're going to be checking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, emanating from Nigerian politics. My name is C.I. Zoro, and of course, I wouldn't be doing this alone because I've got gentlemen with me on this one. The lady apparently is the one trying to take care of the technicalities inside the studio. A beautiful morning to you, gentlemen, Uche and Yebo, and of course a big man.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, my brother.
You're welcome, my brother.
Good morning to you as well. Good morning to everyone out there. It's time for us to talk politics as always, and today's going to be a very interesting one. We have our brother right here, so let's get to it.
Yes, Justice Kolawole Omotosho of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the government of the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria within this fourth republic, stating from 1999 till right about now, Olusegun Obasanjo, Yaradua, late Yaradua, Ebele Goodluck Jonathan, and of course the Buhari administration to actually look into that particular $5 billion loot by Abacha. For the past more than 20 years right now, we've actually had issues about a certain money from Abacha being returned to Nigeria. Some of the times we wonder, Abacha keeps paying us a lot of money over the years, and then we do not literally see where or how that particular money is being taken care of. Of course, the Minister of Finance, Federal Minister of Finance, has equally come out to say that they've been able to check their records and they've not been able to really ascertain where those money has actually gone to. Just to mention a few of what he actually said as regards this particular issue as it stands right now. Now let's take a look at that particular one now. Is there possibilities of still getting accountability to that particular money? And then is there any other approach we could be able to use to be able to recover that particular money? Because $5 billion is a lot of money in the first place, and then we've recovered almost more than $1 billion, if I'm not mistaken, between 1999 till right now, if it is not more than $1 billion already. Yes. Is there any other approach you think we could be able to get to this and then recover more of this particular fund? And is there a possibility of even getting facts from the previous administrations?
And the Abacha loot and the recovery is a very good thing for the country. At least it's going to be a kind of a saving grace for Nigerians. Now we are faced with economic crisis in the country. The Social Economic Rights and Accountability Program, SERAP, an agency like this,
yes,
have also petitioned the federal government in the past to account for these monies. In the past, we have been hearing in the news that such humongous amount of money are being recovered. But the question is, where are these monies? Have they been judiciously been utilized for the economic benefit of Nigerians, the commoners? The question ought to be, from 1999 to date, you have several presidents from Olusegun Obasanjo to Yar'Adua to Goodluck Jonathan to Muhammad Buhari to the now president we are witnessing as well, Bola Tinubu. The question should be, the Ministry of Finance that coordinates the economy and knows the certain amounts of money that comes in and goes out should be able to give Nigerians a proper accountability, not just as the courts have ordered. The Nigerian Senate and the National Assembly ought to call these persons to order to come and explain to Nigerians. You should do something like a public hearing, and let's get to know how these monies came in, dates with dates, and so far where the monies are, and if the money has been used, Nigerians should know. It's not just coming from the courts alone. Our lawmakers are there for oversight functions. That's the primary duty of staying in the National Assembly. Exactly. They should ask pertinent questions. Where are these monies? Have they been used? If they have been inflicted away to private pockets or few individuals siphoning it, Nigerians should know. For me, basically, it's a good one returning the money, but it's another problem accounting for it, because we have seen in the past our politicians, persons in the authorities floating away our money, and they get to go away with it. EFCC, ICPC are not been able to
grab them,
prosecute these individuals to the end point, and see some of them being jailed. And again, some of these persons, when they are being dragged to court, they go for what we call plea bargain. For example, you stole 500 billion. We are taken to court by EFCC because our judicial system allows for plea bargain. Out of that 500 billion, for example, you are made to pay half of it. So you see the person smiling home with half of the money and giving government half of the money. So you see, sometimes we make ridiculous submissions, ridiculous ways for ourselves as a country. People steal big money. At the end, we see nothing on ground. Where is the money? Is
there any possibility, any other ways to be able to get this sorted out, moving on in the future? Because this administration just started, is about a month and some few days into this particular administration since 29th of May 2023. Is there any way to be able to, approach this and get facts? Because just like you stated, it has been on the talk since the last administration, is there any way to be able to get more of something that will yield results? Because it's not about talking or passing an order, but it's about, bringing things that would be what I would call reality check at the end of the day.
I believe that when you talk facts, you must know the amount of money that was actually recovered over time. There were several, countries that he was dealing with. Talking about Abacha. There are several countries that he was dealing with, the likes of Switzerland. He also dealt with Jersey Island, the United States, and Liechtenstein. And then a lot of money was recovered over time. You start looking at under the Obasanjo administration, 1.2 billion was recovered in 2002, 149 million from Jersey Island, UK in 2003, 500 million recovered in 2004 from Switzerland, and another 458 billion dollars are recovered in 2005 from Switzerland. And it goes a long way. If I start to mention everything that was recovered over time under the Yar'Adua administration, under the Buhari administration as well too, you see there's a lot of money and there won't be time for us to actually deal with other things as well. But as it stands right about now, what is done is done. I think they need to be brought to order. It's only fair to Nigerians that you bring them and then you ask questions. Over 20-something years that we've been in expressing democracy, and then you guys have been able to recover this amount of money. What has it been used for? What projects did you embark on with those monies? Because I believe that money belongs to every Nigerian. It was recovered for Nigerians, not for a particular set of people. It was recovered for the entire country. And so if you're going to make use of the money, in as much as you're there as a leader, if you're going to make use of that money, that particular one that was recovered from the Abacha loot, you must make it known to the people that yes, we want to embark on a project, and we feel that instead of borrowing a lot of money, we're going to go with what we have in our coffers that was recovered from the Abacha loot, so that people know that yes, this money is being channeled towards this direction. But in Nigeria, things are not done properly. If you go to the US, for instance, now, you cannot make such decisions. You cannot take such decisions as a leader or as a president without actually informing the people there. And then they would, make it known to every single person that this is what this money is being used for. But in Nigeria here, I don't think that is the case. Everyone has a right. We only hear that, yes, the Abacha loot has been recovered, that the United States decided to give us 2.something million. How are we even sure that was the money that was actually given to us in the first place? They will come out now and tell us that 1.2 was recovered under Obasanjo regime or administration. How are we even sure that that is the amount of money that was recovered? It could be 2 million, and then they tell us it's 1 million. Now, we're not even asking about that. We're asking of the one that you have made us known that this is this is the one that was returned to us. And if that is the case, what happened to that money? Over time, it's been recovered, and it has come to a point where now it is in need. Like, we're in need of that money. We are in dire need of that money at this moment. With the subsidy removal and everything, there is something that we need to at least balance the equation for Nigerians. We cannot keep on taxing every single person. We can't keep taxing every Tom, Dick and Harry to bring taxes so that the government can actually run. When you have a lot of money running into billions sitting somewhere. So I think they should be in a better position, but I don't know how. I think Goodluck will be the person to actually answer the question of Yar'Adua, since Yar'Adua is no more. And then every single person in that administration or in those administrations over time should be made to appear in a court and then answer to Nigeria.
I think when you're saying Goodluck should answer, there are protocols. Yes, he was part of it, but there are ministers of finance at that particular point in time. Yes, we had a problem at a particular point.
That is why I said
2019, 2020.
Minister of Information and the president, the vice president, every single person, even the Secretary of State, every single person involved should be made to answer for that money. Because
so how do we approach some of them right now? Because that is one of the biggest issues, to be able to summon some of them to come on board, to be able to give accountability of those particular funds. How do we go about it?
Thank you very much. Every economic, every monetary aspect of the federal government, every money federal government spends or gets to carry out handy monies are done through the CBN. Exactly. So if such money were returned truly and sent to our coffers, it should be domiciled in the accounts of CBN.
From the World Bank?
Yes, for CBN, the federal government has an account domiciled in the CBN that should have such. Attorney General of the Federation, Accountant General of the Federation from 1999 to date, Ministers of Finance and Economic Planning, those are persons who should know about the intricacies involved in this money, whether they came in truly, whether they were disbursed for projects. For example, just last administration of President Muhammad Buhari, we saw the country borrowing a lot from China. This kind of money ought to have been used to fix our infrastructure, so that we shouldn't be borrowing. And also, this money should also be meant to pay off some of our debts, like the Paris Club debt. Nigeria is presently, though it had come down during the Okonjo War era. So Nigeria, if you're not playing as a country, we should start asking questions to these persons I mentioned. And former presidents like Olusegun Obasanjo, they are still alive. Yar'Adua, as president, had a vice president, had ministers, had attorney general, had accountant general. Accountant general is the one that streamlines to check all the books, the records of the federal government and all other ministries and agencies of government. So for them to account that the monies were duly spent, monies generated from the oil sector, for example, other sectors, internally generated revenue. So these are places where you can trace this money. So it's not something that is hidden somewhere. It's we can get it from the records in these ministries, and these persons can also give us a better clue of what is right answer.
But how are we sure that it has not been included in, let's say, budgets over time? The budgets have been brought in several occasions. We see that these budgets have been padded to have extras on top of it that would definitely be channeled to some person's account and the rest of that. So how are we even sure? So if we come on now,
that's why I feel bringing everybody on board, probably the DSS or the EFCC, the ICPC at this particular point in time, bringing most of them, calling them for interrogations. It is not out of order by the Nigerian Constitution. I don't think it's out of order summoning the former presidents. After all, in some other civilized nations, some presidents go down for it. For fraud, some presidents go down for it for a lot of things, when it is looked at critically as it stands. And now, but away from the financial sector in Nigeria, just as we round up right now because it's time, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Shetima has actually come out sometime last week to raise an argument of Peter Gregory Obi of the Labour Party not being a member, a certified member from the grassroots level of the Labour Party. And now they went ahead to bring in some papers to be able to back up their defense. But at this particular point in time, who should be blamed exactly? Because INEC, which is the Independent National Electoral Commission, gave Peter Gregory Obi that particular permission to run for presidency under the Labour Party, which means they have really looked at it and saw him as somebody who is eligible, who should be blamed at this particular point in time, the INEC or Labour Party.
If you go through the Electoral Act before the amendment, there are issues where persons are going to court to question why INEC should bar persons as candidates. The court has also made a pronouncement that INEC lacks the jurisdiction to question the candidacy of any political party.
Okay.
But however, there are things that are sacrosanct that ought to be done for, just like our laws says, the Electoral Act, you must be a member of a political party so dates like 2 months, 3 months before that election. However, some parties give waivers to their members to contest for primaries or any elective position that contested. So some are also disqualified. Just in the last election, we saw some parties disqualifying some persons in the House of Assembly election, House of Reps, because they never
went through the constitutional way.
They didn't meet the constitutional requirement for them. They didn't stay up to 1 year, for example. I know some persons in AFGA, in PDP, that got such. That is the prerogative of the party. It's the national chairman and the national secretary that appends such. So as he stands now, the Labour Party cleared him. But the issue APC raised from the tribunal case, they want to look it from that angle, is that from the time he was candidate of, he emerged as candidate of the Labour Party, he was not up to the constitutional requirement prescribed by the Electoral Act, because he just resigned his position from PDP some days to that. Yes. So it's now in the best interest, and having looked at the cases, it's now left for the judges to decide. My submission is immaterial. I'm not a member of the president, and I'm not trying to preempt what the court say. I'm just saying it for layman's discussion, so that anybody should understand it from both sides. I'm not taking any angle.
Looking at it from there quickly before we go, looking at it from that angle as well, too, coming through from a layman's perspective, I believe that it should be up to the INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, to be able to determine if this candidate is eligible. I believe that it should be in their own purview to be able to do that. And for them to have allowed him to contest for the election it means that they felt that he passed all the necessary criteria on the test and whatever that is required. And so I don't think that should hold water at this moment. What we should be focused more on is what truly happened during the course of the election. That is what we should be focusing on at this point in time.